So, for the layman out there, things that are called conduct unbecoming, that's sort of a catchphrase to deal with matters that Congress doesn't quite foresee. I think there's a really big rules book that tells you what you can and cannot do. Um, but then, especially in this new modern technology age, we don't foresee everything that's coming. So there is that sort of phrase where if you are just doing stuff that is unbecoming of a member of Congress, that you can met out punishment in that regard. So maybe like faking your entire resume, which might not be a crime per se, could also be conduct unbecoming.
Well, I wouldn't get into the substance of any of the allegations because it's not fair to the person who's before you.
Sure.
And the one thing you want to do, obviously, is maintain the dignity of the proceeding, so that everyone deserves a fair shot. And there's precedent there that go back to Representative Fortenberry or Collins or other folks that they were still members and were voting even though they were not committees until they were
Yes.
actually convicted, and then they were forced to leave the chamber. The
Yeah.
conduct aspect of this, so it's interesting, Paul, and I made a motion at the end of last year before Rules Committee that we set up a standing committee to go through our ethics rules because they were written back in the late 80s, 90s with very few updates. And just think, the cell phone wasn't that active really then, nor was all the social media or the things that are put out there. So, in the rules of conduct at that point it had you can only go on to an event with your husband or wife. Well, let's face it, the world's changed since then as well. So we need to adapt to the rules in the presence of everyday society. And I'm confident that eventually Speaker McCarthy will get there. He's just had a little bit on his plate recently. But eventually we'll get the standing committee and update our ethics policies and procedures. And it takes into consideration those things that, people can say ignorant things every day, and the First Amendment obviously protects them. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're unfit for conduct or unfit here. That's something that it has to take a little bit more than that, where they bring disdain or contempt onto the House and the members of the House by their actions or their words. So I think it's important that we define what those things are. We just had that at the beginning of the year with the Elon Omar case. And you had it in the last session when the Democrats are in charge and they want to take Marjorie Taylor Greene off the committee. We have to define what it is, that what that conduct is, so people can know and understand. And to be truthful, Paul, that's what got me on the damn committee, was that I stood up on behalf of Marjorie Taylor Greene and said, look, we may not agree with what she said, but she was elected by 750,000 constituents in her district who said that they knew what she was saying and they elected her. Who are we to say, this is not good for us, or not in the best interest of the Congress?